Okay, everyone, we are in week 4 and the Portfolio Project 1 course is starting to come to a close. So, as of last week, you had defined your portfolio subject's target audience, and I just finished taking a look at those. Overall, I think you did a really good job. I saw a lot of use of research tools, so some use of the tools that I pointed out last week, as well as what looked like some independent research as well, which is great. And you should always dig into specific factors. Knowing your audience is really going to be essential to any successful media project because you really need to know who it is you're talking to. Um, it's important to know that defining an audience isn't a matter of excluding anyone, it's simply knowing who you're most appealing to, whether it's who you're trying to market a product to or who your media is directed to. If you're running a television series or even a YouTube channel, you have somebody in mind as your core audience. That doesn't mean that anybody can't come along and watch it and enjoy it, because they certainly can. But when you envision who your typical audience members are, there might be a particular type in mind. Um, a lot of times, audience factors are not factors like gender and ethnicity and so forth aren't going to play a part. And I said this last week as well, but occasionally they do, only in really specific situations. If you're promoting a product that is specifically um, meant for use by women or use by men, then that would really define your target audience. A lot of times, though, age is going to be a major factor. And the reason being that we have different developmental stages as we go through life. The complexity of language that you use for an adult is going to be different than what you would use to speak to a child. If you look at children's programming on TV, you can see this. The imagery is different, the language is different, the complexity is different. Um, a kid would get bored with more mature themed media. The language is, sometimes over their heads. The imagery is uninteresting to them, and so forth. So this becomes a factor. So when you say your audience is everyone, everyone in the United States from age 0 to 100, that's going to be inaccurate. You really cannot develop a single piece of media that appeals to everyone. It needs to be more targeted than that. So really put some critical thought into this, and know who your audience is. And sometimes, if you're identifying your audience, you might see opportunities to expand that audience. So if you see, say in the case of electronic gaming, it's really popular in our country, of course. It traditionally has been predominantly a male pastime, and in a lot of ways is still thought of as such. But that's really starting to shift because there was an opportunity for this to move into other audience segments, and now a lot of girls are starting to become gamers, and so that demographic is changing. So if you see those kind of trends, you can start thinking about, well, how can I change this? How, if I wanted to move into this other segment of the audience, how can I change my media strategy in order to make that come about? So it's about strategy and opportunities. So really look at that with a critical eye and think about who actually is your core audience. So the next step and the final step for this month is identifying media needs. So this is thinking about your portfolio subject that you selected in week 2 and thinking about how they are using media now, if they're using media at all, and what are some ways that they can improve upon that, adopting new media avenues or using the media that they already have in better ways. So current media usage, are they using social media? So, if they just have a Twitter account or if they just have a Facebook account, that's fine, but unless they're using it regularly, giving regular updates, a pretty persistent stream of content, it's not going to be doing them a lot of good. Just having a page on Facebook is going to get lost in the flood. Um, so you got to look at how they're making use of that. Are they using video? Are they using television commercials, radio commercials, um, or even any kind of informational content? They have a web presence and so forth. It's wide open. Even traditional media outlets like newspapers count in this case. Um, so as you're looking at what they're already using, also start thinking about what they could use. And this is your own brainstorming. This isn't necessarily dependent upon any kind of research, but just what you know currently, and you're going to grow as media professionals. But just use some speculation, because this could help you um, to choose some of the direction with your portfolio project. You can use your portfolio project to address some of these needs. This is all simulated. It's nothing you're going to take to your portfolio subject and say, "Hey, I created this commercial for you. You should use it." You can if you want to, but you don't have to. But this is a simulation of your role as a media strategist, and so this allows you to look for those opportunities. I'm also looking for you to identify some resources. Again, this doesn't have to be really detailed in terms of specific budgets and costs of equipment and so forth, but just a general idea of what would they need in order to take it to this next level of media usage. Could be as simple as having a designated person to run their social media outlets, or it could go as complex as hiring a video crew and getting a studio or what have you. So put some thought into that, and hopefully this will help give you some direction in the future with your portfolio projects. If you do have any questions, be sure to shoot me an email or message me on Facebook or give me a call at my office number. Otherwise, it's been good working with you this month, and I wish you all the best as you move ahead with the program.